Hey guys, Obelisk DJs here. Welcome to my corner. It's like 1:40 in the morning. I don't know why I'm doing this. I should probably be sleeping, but you know what? Screw it. Video first, sleep later. To hell with what happens. Yeah, I'm just gonna ramble here for a bit because, yeah, I just had some things I just want to say. Let's see. Also, I apologize for the quality, but like, yeah, this is the best lighting I could get at night. Anyway. I just actually had some games on DN. I was playtesting a couple decks against Dirk McMuffin, and I learned the hard way that heroes just completely mop the floor with Atlantean Mermails. It's not even close. I do a play, they just have like outs for days, bottomless torrential, warning, Gemini spark, super polarization. That didn't go off, but everything on my deck just makes absolute zero, and absolute zero gets bigger for every guy I got on the field. And even if I nuke the damn thing, he ends up not nuking my stuff. Just ugh. Massive back row dot deck is like really difficult to get through, and yeah. Well, granted, the deck I was playing was pretty much like OCG style, and only had like 2 MSTs, and like I didn't have enough hate for back row. Guess it's like trying to utilize marksman to also pop off back row, but at the same time, it's like my opponent summons Thunder King sets 3. I'm like, ugh, I don't know if I want to attack into that. And then there's like the other thing about the deck is I just simply don't know what I'm doing half the time. I have some idea of what some of the cards do, but at the same time, once I start doing some stuff, I'm like, well, what the hell do I do from here? Like, I know Mermail Abyss Slind. I think it's the one that when it's killed by battle, it special summons a Mermail from the deck. I know if my opponent still has a monster on the field that I don't want to deal with, I'm probably going to get a Megalo Abyss out because he's 2400 beats, or otherwise I would get Abyss Pike, who would then pitch a card, and depending on what situation it is, do stuff. I mean, you would either pitch a marksman if your opponent has 1 back row, or you pitch an armed man if they have like a monster you don't want to deal with, or you could pitch a seahorseman if you are ready to go off with a Megalo Abyss, or even a Moon Glace, and like go nuts on your turn. But at the same time, I'm like, what the hell do I even get out of the deck with this guy's effect? Do I get a Abyss Slind in case things go bad? Do I get an Abyss Goon if I have a discard outlet? Do I get Marksman? I kind of wish there was like another level 3 Mermail with an ignition effect that you could just use on your own turn. Like, discard 1 card, select 1 card on the field, do something. Maybe the TCG will do something about that, because as it is, like, the deck is very combo oriented, and if things get disrupted, it's really difficult to take back everything. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm playing the deck wrong and I need to play it some more. It's just, yeah, the deck is like, I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I really want to learn how this deck works because, again, it's a water deck, and I've wanted to play a good water deck for like ever. I think I'll need to like check out some other people's videos on the deck and see if I can just find some good explanations of combos, because yeah, I'm definitely going to try and build a deck. It's going to be disappointing if I go to all this trouble to build a deck and it ends up being a complete flop in my hands. On the other hand, though, I was also playtesting these guys, and wow, this deck is crazy good. Once Abyss Rising comes out, I would not be surprised if these jump up to tier 1.5 in the TCG, because the deck, there's so much surge power, there's so much hand advantage, and Priestess is just a ridiculous card. You can just summon that thing, sit on it, and just win the game. Protect the Priestess is a very good way to play that deck. You've got ways to keep it on the field. I mean, you got a themed Forbidden Lance that also acts as fodder to get rid of, to pop a card. You've got this to get over bigger monsters, a 3500 attack meter that also gets you a card out of your deck is nuts. And then you can just have your themed Foolish Burial, bring it back. And then like there's the other cards in the deck too. Really great set. Or just normal summon it, get a card out of your deck and just go from there. And Temperance. Oh my goodness, Temperance. Yeah, if they don't have a Veiler for this, you're gonna get a 2500 beer for free. Just don't make the same mistake that I did at first, and that was special summon priestess through her own effect and then use this and try and summon another priestess, because yeah, as far as I know, you can't use this effect if you've already dropped a big monster in the turn. And best artwork ever. I mean, it's got this in it, and it's got this in it. Look at that. Hey, it's almost like the actual card work. The last thing I'm going to say is the Seal of Orichalcos. Now that the full effect has been revealed, I've seen some mixed reactions. People are like, oh, this card's not great at all. It blows up my monsters. I can't spam synchros and exceeds. And I'm like, well then. Konami thought wise. I mean, would you imagine if Wind-Ups or Lavals had access to this card? Just, yeah. What I do think, though, is there are decks out there that definitely benefit from this card. And the obvious one people are going to talk about is stuff like Rock Stun or TG Stun. I mean, these decks don't special summon that often, so the effect of blowing your field up doesn't really hurt them, and this deck can get an advantage off of that, because you would just get a search off of this. And yeah, this just really block Golem, but having a 2400 Negator is pretty good. Having a 2100 Rush Rhino before it attacks is pretty good. A 3500 Barrows and a 2200 attack King Tiger Wangu, sick. And then there's also a Malefics, a 4500 Cyberman, and 3000 Malefic Stardust. This deck, Seal of Orichalcos solves one of the problems with this guy. Is he's too small. Well, now he's 3K, and he protects your seal, even though it's like protected once per turn from an MST. That is really nice, because then you can do shit like Light Ray Daedalus. You drop this thing, you target Seal of Orichalcos, and then other cards. You pop those cards, but Seal of Orichalcos stays on field because it's once per turn. It can't be destroyed by a card effect. And then there's also one other deck that I thought about too. This deck. But Obelisk. Why would you mention this deck? It special summons a bunch. You're right. However, you could summon like Pulsar, play Seal. This guy dies. You get this guy, who's 3300 attack, and then you get this guy, who's 3000 attack, and yeah, they would have to kill this first before they could kill this, or your Dark Flare. Just Chaos Dragon doesn't really spam out of the extra deck, aside from tour guides and the occasional rank 6, but if you hold your Orichalcos long enough, you could just do some sick stuff with these two cards. And of course, there is one card I have to talk about when it comes to the Seal of Orichalcos, and that would be this dot deck. Having 30... Blue Star 899 is having problems doing math, but then again, it's like almost 2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, having a 3200 attack, destruction proof monster who most of the time will not let your opponent special summon, targeting a field spell that can't be destroyed once per turn. I like this a lot. I really do. But yeah, I definitely see that the best applications would be in decks that don't special summon a whole lot, or decks that you can just simply play the Seal and then do your stuff from there. I think the Seal could be run in decks that were already playing 3 copies of Pot of Duality. They lost the Pot of Duality, so what do? You just put a Seal in and you take it from there. I definitely do like the idea of it in Malefics, because you're already playing 3 Terraforming, 2 Gear Town, and 2 Necro Valley. You just can't simply slap it down on top of a set Gear Town, because that would kill your Gadgetron Dragon, but if nothing else, it gives you a nice 3000 beater and a 4500 beater. Ugh. And I'm curious to see what can be done with this. Maybe in a Chaos Dragon, or even just a Lightsworn Orichalcos Daedalus? I don't know. But yeah, that's it for this. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, take care. As for me, I'm going to sleep. Goodbye.